I'm just loving seeing all of these different Magnet Warrior decks coming together. Make sure you guys smash the little crap out of that subscribe button. See, guys, don't miss out on more content. I love to see the differences that have been happening between all of these regionals, because there's like this format is like kind of stagnant at this point, sure, but like there's innovations. Like winning our event was Yummy, Gold Sarcophagus, Snake Eyes. Like, who in the modern time is going to take this idea, stick this together, and call this a good game plan? Because honestly, that's kind of interesting. So we did have two Yummy variations actually doing very well. Two of which, I mean, are completely different versions of the deck kind of swinging around. I mean, Yummy just kind of does some stupid stuff. We also had two Magnet Warrior decks doing very well, both of which are playing Fiendsmith. Now, this has been a pretty common thing to see fairly recently, that, you know, they need to find some sort of supplementation without the Block Dragon package. But I think the deck is doing gradually just fine for what we want to see, which is actually kind of nice. Now, for the rest of the regional, I mean, you had Sky Striker doing relatively well. Now that the deck is incredibly budget, players have been gravitating towards that as an option. We still have Branded doing its thing. It's actually kind of crazy because, like, you have Branded and Draco Tail still kind of coming together and doing the exact same thing, which is pretty normal, I feel like, at this point. And then, of course, we did have Mitsurugi kind of bringing up the rear here as well. Mitsu's definitely been one of those decks that has felt a little bit hit or miss recently. Not like in necessarily like a bad sense of things, but it's definitely enough that you're seeing. So yes, your regional landscape is looking pretty strong for the different decks that are currently present within the field, which is actually kind of nice. Having some actual different challengers and things striking up the conversation is actually not too bad. Now, winning our event here was Jad's 60 card pile. Now, we're no stranger to actually seeing what these 60 card piles are capable of doing, because the Yummy package is incredibly powerful at being able to slot into all of these different methods of madness that you could kind of go down. And obviously, you know, Shining Sarcophagus stuff being your first starter to get access into D-Mod does kind of open up some haha funny doors for the little other ways that you can go about things. Now, this extra deck, if you notice, is not playing the Dark, or the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. That's something that, you know, I mean, your pile deck like this doesn't really have access to do crazy things with like that. You know, most of what you're going to be putting your time into is like, hey, I found some level 8s. Let's go make Zombie Master or Zombie Vampire so we can get the mill. The goal is to, you know, get access to Engine 1 or get access into Engine Line 2 here to be able to play your game. Now, we are also playing the Flamberge Dragon. Now, I wish we could have access to the more powerful stuff that comes with Flamberge, but crystallization of the spell and trap card zone, the ability to kick up an IP, these are the, you know, the things that make that particular package actually very, very scary. And that's the thing that we will continue to see players actually exploring with this and actually wanting to do decently well with that. Outside of that, I mean, truthfully be honest with you here, the Dark Magician Shining Sarcophagus stuff is incredibly powerful for what it does. Also, shout out to this one of Kurikara in the deck. I really find this funny that not only did they manage to, you know, get the Kurikara into the deck, like, it's actually just kind of impressive overall, just looking at the way that this deck plays, the different tools that it really feels like that we've kind of got access to. So beautiful. Next up is Ricardo's Magnet Warrior Special. Now, when we're looking at Magnet Warriors, you got a couple of things that you got to take into consideration with the build. You know, we don't have Block Dragon, so we're going to have to make, you know, concessions for that. And usually you can do a pretty good job at making those changes and transitioning them over. That's where the TCG goes, well, let's go ahead and play Fiendsmith cards to maximize it. I do see Double Lacrima is a new spicy tech choice, actually. I do kind of like having access to this. Also, shout out to the actual playing Rex Tremende. Oh my gosh. I guess, to be fair, if your deck has access to Rex Tremende as an even bigger boss monster for you to be able to set up. Like, you're probably going to get some places here so that you can actually do some things. We do have tactile. A lot of the staple-esque cards having kind of pushed into that side deck for you to kind of work with and be able to get things going. You know, we've got maximized Mulcharmies within the deck as well, going with the triple carb again on here. I do feel like, you know, everything like this that we've got within this deck is actually worth it. So I think this deck is pretty solid. It is a great choice. So hey, if you want to play some Magnet Warrior meta, I think you're going to want to try this. Like I said, maximize on Fiendsmith cards. They're evidently really good. Next up here, we have Andre Torres's branded pile. I feel like Andre has just been like the master of this deck. Like I feel like we've been following this pattern with him for years. One of the cool things that we are seeing this deck play is we are playing Golgollet. Now, Mr. Golgollet here has a very unique ability that allows you to search for a forbidden card when it is sent from the deck, or when sent to the graveyard. So you can technically Branded Fusion this down, and then guess what? I get a free search for a forbidden quick play spell card. I'm wondering which one of these incredibly broken tools my deck wants to be able to add. It's also pretty interesting to see we got away with actually playing, dare I say, polymerization in the main deck, and this is because we were playing the Edge Imp stuff in here. I don't actually hate the Edge Imp stuff within this deck. This is actually kind of cool. I see we did a 1-1 split on the Branded Fusions as well. Having access to one on the side, I guess, does kind of achieve, you know, kind of those same results you're kind of looking for. So definitely a unique spread of tools available to you for this deck. You got to have some sort of tax if you're going to do well in the regionals right now, because, you know, it's these tech choices that end up winning you games about 99% of the time, and, you know, Edge Imp for consistency seems good. Next up is Casey's Yummy deck, and yes, we are going to be playing the Sulfachord version of this. We've seen the Sulfachord version kind of pop up every once in a while. I do think the deck has taken more of a natural backseat to, you know, kind of the Radiant Typhoon pile decks that we've been seeing come up. But that doesn't mean that this build is obsolete. No, it's actually kind of the exact opposite. You know, you kind of got to come back up into the modern times here and see, you know, what's actually going to be working out the best for you. Shout out to the Assist Yummy down here. We have the 2 Illusion Gates that we want to see. We do have the Gravity Controller. Gravity Controller is such a stupid card for this deck. I see we're also playing the 1 Pyre map. I know a few people aren't exactly happy to see Pyre map actually doing relatively playable things in this deck, because most people are like, I'd rather just not play it. But it's, you know, even as like a one-of, it's a consistency piece that's there to buff the deck and try to make things a little bit more consistent for you, which is actually kind of the game plan. So yes, Yummy is a deck that is doing relatively well right now. Yes, you have many variations and things, RIP to Pure, because you got to play some other engine now. And then we have Aaron's Draco Tail pile. Now, 99% of these Draco Tail lists all kind of look the same to me at this point. I do see we're doing 2 Fauna White, 1 Albaz, 2 Incredible Ecclesia. You kind of pick your poison with the amount of Ecclesias that you want to build into the deck. I feel like that's become a pretty normal part, right? Ecclesia provides consistency, but like you can maximize and go to 3 on it just to make sure it's like, oh, hey, you know, I can see this. It's a free special summon into a free starter that brings out another one. So, you know, not only are we deck thinning, you know, we're deck winning at that point. I do see that we are playing the Philia Regius as well. We also have 2 copies of Iron Thunder and a Judgment. The fact that we're kind of covering those bases within this list is actually not too bad. And also, you know, shout out to Evenly Matched and Forbidden Droplet. Probably some of the most ignorant Yu-Gi-Oh cards you can kind of toss at your opponent right now to play the game. So overall, I mean, this regional Magnet Warriors was the thing that we wanted to see. But also, you know, your meta has some different techs and trends within it. And that's what we want to be seeing here. We want these tech choices to be doing things. So please, you know, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.